Good evening, everyone. This is your favorite pharmacist. I'm hoping y'all having a great evening today. Excuse whatever happened earlier with my live. I don't know, tripping. Either way, today we're going to speak about a very important topic, especially with me being a pharmacist over 20 years. I've seen a lot of things go on in the medical community concerning medications. You see the ebbs and the flows of, in particular, with narcotics or painkillers. Now there's an issue because it is now infiltrated. Well, it's always been in our communities, but we are basically dying at a very high rate. Before, it wasn't too much of an issue with us dying. Well, first of all, it didn't even matter. There was an opioid epidemic technically back in the 80s, 90s, 80s with the Reagan era. But we were criminalized. We were seen as bad people for having an addiction that was ravaging our communities. Now we're at a point where it's a problem. It's a national crisis. There are all kinds of resources and everything to help out with the crisis. But where do we fall in the mix? And now we are dying, especially our Black men. For some reason, I haven't read a story as of yet about anyone in the news or celebrity-wise who, that died from addiction as in a woman. But a lot of our men are dying from it. And I have a hypothesis on why this may be the case. So I'm going to start off the video with a video to kind of lay the foundation of what I'm going to speak about, and then we're going to go from there. All right.
There's racial disparities here. When there was a drug issue in the African American community, we were prosecuted, we were put in jail, children were put in foster care, families were ripped apart. It was treated like a criminal justice issue. We had Rockefeller drug laws. Our jails were filled with men and women that look just like me. Now, we have an opiate issue. It is affecting another demographic. Now, it is a health issue. And now, we have to put money into diverting individuals from prison into treatment. And so what is missing from this package is a restorative justice package for all those individuals that were jailed and for all those families that were ripped apart and for the individuals who have criminal records because they had addiction issues, just like the people who are the speaker.
All right, so y'all heard that, right? And that is the truth. When we as a community, African-American communities, were ravished from this opioid addiction, in the form of crack cocaine or whatever was going on at the time. Our families were split apart. We were put in jail. What was a treatment plan? What was any of that? So we're gonna discuss that. But why is such a surge of our people dying from this? Basically, the root of it is fentanyl. But why are we having issues all of a sudden? We did have it in the back in the 80s. Somehow, as we always do as a group of people, we made it through that. But here we are now. And it was the white people, the white communities were having an issue. So why were the white communities having an issue versus us when it comes to the opioid addiction? So it's quite simple, is health disparities. Doctors, they've done polls and everything, and doctors actually do not think that Black people feel the same amount of pain as our white counterparts. So therefore, it kind of worked against them and to our favor in this respect, where the white people, they were having issues with addiction because they were getting all the prescriptions written out. Oh, you have a headache? Here's some narcotic. Oh, you have, you think you might have a headache? Here's some Vicodin. So, but with Black people, we can have probably a full-blown black back blowout, and they probably, send us with some ibuprofen 800 milligram prescription. Unfortunately, I have seen this so much in practice. I have seen it. I've even talked to a doctor. I'm like, listen, this woman is a known, she's a known doctor shopper. She is a known addict. And he really, he actually said to me, this is an emergency room doctor. He said, oh, she's so effing ugly. Just let her have it. That was pretty, I mean, she was pretty ugly, but not enough to, just to give her whatever she wanted. Versus where I've seen so many of our African brothers and sisters where they have major pain. And if they were to get any pain medication, they were literally would get like 5 pills or something that just would do nothing except aggravate the situation. So in this case, it was to our advantage. And that's why we weren't caught up in the opioid epidemic at the beginning, because we weren't getting the prescriptions. The doctor would not write it for us because according to them, we don't feel pain. Okay, so now here we are. The drug companies have done all this marketing to the doctors. They have done this and that to promote their products like OxyContin, Norco, all of those heavy hitters, having the doctors write it. Now we have a big full-blown problem because the white communities are overdosing on the prescriptions, overdosing by respiratory depression, by taking too many of the painkillers. Okay, so now it's a crisis. And now we have Congress involved. Now we have something called the opioid. It's an epidemic. Like we have a COVID pandemic, we have an opioid epidemic. Is a crisis, okay? So now Congress is funneling all this money into the communities. No, not our communities, okay? Into the proper communities. So that kind of leaves us out there with our problems still. Okay, so why do we have, okay, so let me go by my notes here. All right, so why is it, so what's the problem? So what's the problem all of a sudden with the epidemic? Why is there an epidemic, and why is it affecting African Americans? Why is there a surge? Okay, so with the opioid epidemic and this big, war on drugs and tightening up on the pharmacies, tightening up on the drug companies, everyone's getting sued left and right. There's fines left and right, even though it's just a slap on the wrist. What's happened is, and what usually happens when you have an addiction and you can't get your usual supply, the pain pills dried up. The doctors cannot write them like they were. Okay, there's rules and regulations. There are tighter restrictions. The pharmacy, I know at our level, is called corresponding responsibility. Like even if the doctor were to write a prescription for some pain pills and it did not make sense, we still had to be, the buck stops with us. So let's say something happened and a patient dies. The doctor kind of going to get away with it a little bit more. Of course, they will hear something about it, but because when you work at a pharmacy, and usually it's a big pharmacy like CVS or Walmart, whatnot, we have the big pockets, the deep pockets. So with that, the company is really bearing down on the pharmacist on not using our professional judgment, but basically bringing that to a screeching halt with giving out the pain medications, even if the doctor writes them, or, we have to really question it. So either way, so that caused less supply of the pain medications. Okay, so all these people were getting OxyContin, they were getting Norco, they were getting, all this stuff. So what are they going to do? They can't get it like they used to. They go to the other go-to, the heroin. Okay, so now we're getting heroin. All right, so now there's a surge in heroin. Okay, wow, there's a market. And if you're a good business person, what are you going to do? You want to maximize your profit, right? Okay, so you can get your product. How can I make my product better but get more money, but still make more money because I'm not using as much resources? That's business, right? Okay, let's do some fentanyl. Now, fentanyl is not a brand new drug. Fentanyl is a drug that's been out for like years. It comes as a patch. It comes as a lozenge that you can suck in your mouth like a lollipop, but it is used as a prescription for chronic pain, like cancer people, stuff of that nature, right? Okay, so you get it from the prescription, from the doctor, you get it from the pharmacy. Now, but what's going on? So how is it getting on the street? Not getting it from the pharmacy, because pharmacists, we ain't trying to hear none of that. Nope, not getting it from us. It's not worth it. Even though there was a dumb pharmacist that was selling COVID pandemic cards, vaccine cards or whatever. Whatever. So they should have gone to him. But how are these people get this on the street? They're getting it from China. Yeah, they're getting it from China. China by the way of Mexico, by the way of smuggled into the United States. So why is fentanyl so dangerous? It's dangerous because it only takes just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. You see this penny? You see that little flicks of dust right there? That can kill you. That's all you need. So what you do is you take this fentanyl that you make yourself. They don't have like an educated person who have like a balancing, a petri dish or balancing beams, or these people, they probably have their own addictions themselves, addiction to money, but they might have other addictions as well. So what do? So they thank you, Mr. Tyrone. So what do? They manufacture themselves. These aren't professionals, of course. These are street pharmacists. These people are street chemists. They're not doing a good job. And you see how much it takes. Look at that little bit. It only takes a little bit to beef up your product. So what they do is the point of the fentanyl is to mix it with something else, like some cocaine or some heroin, or, like Prince, for example. How did Prince die? You think Prince knew that he was getting fentanyl mixed with that Vicodin pill? No. So these people probably were breaking the Vicodin in half, okay, because those are harder to come by, because remember, we're in an opioid epidemic, and this is illegal to get it except from by prescription. But if you should get your hands on 120 Norcos or Vicodins, what you going to do? You could probably break it in half, put a flick of fentanyl, reformulate it. There you go. That's that money. Yeah. So Prince probably did not even know that he was going to overdose. Of course he didn't, but he probably didn't even know he had fentanyl. Most people who get heroin, they said it's even hard to find on the streets. You can't even hardly find heroin on the streets, but you can find that fentanyl, because that's the money maker now. And even if you should find some heroin, it's going to have fentanyl mixed in it. Why? People are greedy. What's the number one addiction besides the addiction itself? The money, the love of money. Right. So let me show you this video here and go into, and let's check this out real quick.
Does that bother you?
To an extent, but they're going to get this from somebody, right?
I mean, I guess apart from anything else, it's not great business practice to be killing your customers, right?
No. I don't think anybody wanted anybody to die, but the thing is, heroin, it used to come and it's heroin. This fentanyl, we're making it ourselves. You go online on the dark web, you order an ounce of fentanyl from China. It costs you $350, pay an extra $50, the next day it's delivered right to your door. You take that $400 worth of fentanyl,
Yeah.
and you make 1,000 grams of down.
Yeah.
And you're getting anywhere between 100 and 120 per gram. So do the math.
Jesus. It's like mining diamonds, isn't it?
Yeah. Like gold. You're taking $400 and you're making 100 grand.
But while it's lucrative, illicit street fentanyl is often being cooked by amateur gangsters in their basements. They're making the recipe up as they go along, and the final product is synthetic and wildly inconsistent. Customers here told us that what they buy on the street can be any color of the rainbow.
That's what, like right now.
All right. So you hear gangsters are making it. People who don't know anything of what they are doing. They don't know what they're doing, but but people who have an addiction, they're not understanding. So that's why I want to bring awareness to our communities, because in the white communities, and don't get me wrong, white people are cool, no big deal. I get it. But white people, they have resources, okay? They have that Narcan. You know, they have people who doing syringe exchange programs 24 hours a day in their communities. We don't have that. So what I want to do is I want to bring awareness that drugs aren't safe at all. This is deadly. You see this little bit. Look at this little bit. That can kill you right there. What is someone going to do what about their high? If someone is high themselves and they making this drug, they probably gonna be like thinking it's like some pepper and is putting a little more. Well, let me put one more flick in there. That one more flick of fentanyl can kill you. So what is fentanyl? Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid. Synthetic meaning man-made. Like I said, it's already been out for many years. It's usually used for cancer patients. It's usually used for chronic pain. Okay, it comes as a patch, and a lot of times people who have addiction who can get them, hands on it. It's like a really thin Band-Aid, like a 4x4 Band-Aid. Oh, well, probably smaller. But what do? They slice it in half and they suck the fentanyl out. Yes, it's just amazing, but it's measured. So that's why they won't die from that. So just as a community, we just need to bring awareness to that. Let's see. Yeah, so Congress is just basically funneling in. And another thing is, let's say, especially in the Black community, if we have an addiction, this across the board with all groups of people, shame and stigma is going to keep you in a secret hiding place. You're always going to be hiding because you're so full of shame, you're so full of stigma, and your mental health is not in check. And therefore, you're not getting anything resolved, and sure, death will surely come to you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like I've always said before, there's no such thing technically as an old drug addict. If there is, that's the exception to the rule rather. But with the fentanyl, I mean, it's like playing Russian roulette. Like you may as well get a gun, pull it to your head, and pull it every single day. One of those days you will die. No ifs, ands about it with a gun. So what is different about fentanyl? Nothing. And if you look more into this documentary, which was so interesting, it's like 40 some minutes. So y'all check it. I'll put it in the link. This is how insane it gets. When people find out a certain dealer gave out some literally killer fentanyl, guess what happens? They want it. They will go to that dealer. Yes, that dealer gets more profit because he's getting more business because he is known as having literally that killer fentanyl. The fentanyl on the street, because it's made by all these different types of people who know nothing about chemistry or even care to, different colors. You may get a different pill. It's like the fentanyl may be a different color. It can be like 12 different colors. You don't know what's going on. So it's just amazing how it's just really frustrating. And, just like with Michael K. Williams, as Hank said, Hank Tyrone, thank you so much. He didn't know. He died from, I believe, from cocaine, and he died from heroin in his system with fentanyl. He didn't know. A lot of these people don't know. This is the new thing. This is the new. Okay, you can't get it from the pharmacy no more. They got the doctor's hands tied. They have the pharmacist's hands tied. So now you're gonna go to the street. The street is dirty. Unless you're ready to die that day, it's a wrap. So it's just really about that. So let's see. How long? Okay. So yeah, so it's a synthetic. It's 50 times more potent than heroin. 50 times more potent than heroin. So let's just say I have a drug problem. I had a drug problem, okay? And let's just say I had a relapse. And I'm thinking, okay, I was a heavy hitter. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to get me a Vicodin. And, even if they tell me it was on, it has fentanyl in it, it's all right. I mean, I used it to a certain amount. If I have a fresh body that haven't had a narcotic in like a month or so, I'm gonna go in head first, and death is sure to come. Let's check this out here. Yeah, we know about Michael K. Williams, which is it's so sad. But check out this right here with this comedian, Fuquan Johnson. Fentanyl mixed with cocaine wiped him out with his friends, 3 people, one time. Swipe. That's what you call a swipe. The 4th person, by the grace of God, is still alive. This is for real. This is one of our brothers, along with 2 other people, 3 people at one time. You think they knew fentanyl was involved? No, listen, even people are going to lie. We have to understand that because of the opioid epidemic, everything mutates and change, and business going to do what it's going to do. People saw this as a business opportunity. Like the gentleman said, you can order it from the dark web from China, have it to your doorstep the next day. $400. You can flip $400 of fentanyl, mix it with something else, and you have $120,000 basically. Easy. From $400 multiplies into $120. $120,000. Just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, yeah, but this case right here was really hurtful. I mean, because this is what I call a swipe. This gentleman, you know, you're partying, and you know, and my message I want to put out there, one of the messages I want to put out is you cannot trust. You cannot trust. Even if you trust the person that's giving it to you, you cannot trust who they're getting it from. These people do not know what they're doing. Unless you're getting it from a pharmacist gone rogue, or if you get it from like a chemist gone rogue. And even then, it's a little dicey because they don't know really the whole pharmacology and pharmacokinetics or whatever like that. Unless you're getting it from those people who are professional at it, you're putting a gun to your head every single day. Every single day. That's what you're doing. So, and then this is so sad with this young lady, you know, basically, you know, now it's a problem. Well, how are they going to take care of us now? Now it's in our communities. So as we already know, the doctors don't think we feel pain. So that's why we escaped the first wave of the opioid epidemic. Okay. Now, what are they going to do to help us since we're part of this other wave with the fentanyl? What are they going to do? There are options. There are actually drugs you can get from the pharmacy to be treated for addiction. Doctors aren't going to really prescribe it to you if you're Black. Just the way it is. If you don't have your resources or your awareness, you probably won't even know something like that exists. So even if you probably won't even get it. You have to probably ask for it, and then you might get pushback. And that's just the world we live in. So that's why as a community, we need to bring together our own awareness, and we need to have our own resources and know what to do. But the first step is the foundation. So why are we having this addiction problem? What's going on with our men? What's going on with my brothers? Why is Michael K. Williams, who had it all, DMX, who had it all, you know, even men from other ethnic groups, you know, the guy who played in the movie The Flash, you know, a football player who was doing methamphetamine and had the fentanyl in it. What is the underlying foundational problem? Now, the addiction is not the foundation of the problem. Addiction is the symptom to the problem. The foundation of the problem is your mental health. Why are Black men dying of this and Black women aren't dying of this at the same rate? Because women are more prone to go to the doctor and take care of our bodies. Y'all hate this about us, but we whiny, we like to talk a lot. So we tend to get things off our chest. We tend to go to the doctors. We take care of ourselves, guys. So that's why it's so important just in general. And I've seen it from all of my years at pharmacy. I've seen this. I get you back in the what happens when a person ODs on fentanyl? How long does it take? Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so when a person dies from fentanyl, and I was going to get to that, but thank you. I'm all over the place because I am so passionate about this because this is ridiculous. We have one major celebrity every month dying from this. Okay. But what happens is it's called respiratory depression, and that happens with any opioid. But with fentanyl, because it's so potent, and what respiratory depression is when it slows down your breathing, it's like a lulling you down to sleep. It's a lull. And it impedes, it stops your breathing. And it's not one of those violent deaths where you're floundering all over the place or whatever. You doze out from a druggy haze, and then you just stop breathing. You don't even know the difference. How long does it take? It depends on the dosage. But it doesn't take long. It does not take long. But there is something called Narcan, and I was going to get to this at the end, but this is going to go along with it because, this is all about awareness. There's something that's called Narcan. Have y'all put in the chat if y'all ever heard of Narcan before? Oh, okay. So Hank, I see you. Okay. So Hank, you've seen about Narcan. Okay, so Narcan is basically you can get it as an injection, but this one here is a nasal inhaler. So basically, when the drug is overwhelming your system and giving you that respiratory depression or slowing your breathing down to the point of no breathing, what this does is reverse the effect of the respiratory depression coming from the fentanyl or any opioid. You can get it from the pharmacy. Did y'all know that? You can get it from the pharmacy without a prescription. Yes. Now, I would be honest, it's a little pricey, but some insurances will pay for it. I've seen co-pays of $0. And it's like I think like $100 drug, $123 at the pharmacy. But you can get it from $0 to $47. And sometimes insurances don't pay for it. But the main thing is, you can get it for anybody. I can walk up, you can walk up, anybody can walk up to get to the pharmacy and say, I want a prescription for my Narcan. The pharmacist will not ask any questions. They process it in the system. And what you can do is if you have a friend or a loved one that has an addiction and they tend to overdose or just an addiction in general, you can keep this in your car, you keep this in your pocket. You can always have it. So when they have an overdose or a suspected overdose, you can quickly administer it to them. Did y'all know that? Oh, okay. So yes, Unspoken Word knows about that. Yeah. So, but did y'all know you can get it from the pharmacy without a prescription? Did y'all know that part? Yeah. So this is what's going on. See, in the other communities besides ours, this is a very well-known thing that they have this information. Like I said, they have 24/7 trailer where they have a syringe exchange where you can give them your dirty syringes and they can give you a fresh box of needles. And that's to prevent like diseases, hepatitis, AIDS, whatever. Keep you from sharing needles. Did y'all hear about that? So, I mean, it's a big thing. The money that Congress is using on the opioid epidemic, they're using it, but we're not getting it. And that's why there is the surge, because of the lack of awareness and a lack of resources that are being brought to the African American community. Period. Okay, so I'm gonna move on from that because what we need to do now is we need to talk to, I'm the type of person, I like to get to the root of the problem. Okay, I mean, some of y'all even know, even when I'm dead wrong on something, I like to get to the root of it because you can't learn and you can't grow and be a better person if you don't learn and grow, from what you know. So basically, let me see, I can pull up something right here. So the root of the problem is the mental health. It is the mental health. Why did Michael K. Williams, he even said in a lot of interviews that he always had mental health issues stemming from childhood. I never really seen too many details, but he said his mother was super, super, super strict on him and his brother because she was not going to have the boys running around, running amok, basically. She probably was a single mother with 2 knucklehead boys. And, y'all guys, it's hard to take care of y'all. Okay. So, when you're young boys and you're growing up to be men. So she probably was like really strict. And, that's all I've seen of or heard of from him. But something mentally was taking place from a young age that seed was planted and he's never gotten over it. So why do you have an addiction in the first place? Why do you, I'm sorry, back to you, Hank, you were saying, is there anything else? What other drugs can pharmacists give that people may be addicted to? No, you say, what other drugs can the pharmacists give to help people addicted to drugs? Oh, okay, gotcha. I should have had all of them out there, but it's like Suboxone. They have it where you can take it as a tablet, as a film you can melt in your mouth. There's buprenorphine. This is it's like 2 or 3 major hitters that we sell on a daily basis. Our top drugs, we have to make sure and be vigilant of keep it in stock. Y'all don't understand how many people have addiction issues. And I work in a really rich area. It is amazing. We always have to keep it in stock. We will run out like it's nobody's business because it is a well-affluent neighborhood. We need that. So what I'm going to do, I'm working on a seminar now to bring awareness, and I'm going to work on partnering like with Narcan and other companies to help bring, to give inventory to help this, disseminate in our communities. And also I want to get help because y'all don't understand how this mental health, the DMX, he had demons since he was a child. A poor man was in foster care. His mother rejected him because she had her own demons and made it his demons. And that's why when you go to a facility, like these people are rich, these are millionaires. Michael K. Williams, and not Omar, and DMX and Prince and all of these people. Prince, he started his issue from all of that, really good dancing, and he had a hip issue. So that's how he started on the Vicodin. But imagine being a young person and all the fame, the lights, the yelling, you always in a state of anxiety. Can you imagine being on a stage for millions of people and you feel the wave of love and screaming and yelling and people just want you to just perform and you giving it your all? How the hell do you sleep at night? So yeah, once he got him a taste of that Vicodin, that was probably the only time he could relax. That was the only time he could relax. Instead of dealing with the mental health part of it and learning how to manage whatever he needed to manage, maybe, being a professional like he was and how to learn how to tone it down or bring it down or whatnot. Yeah. He got Vicodin and the Vicodin happened to have that fentanyl because that's the new business plan. Let me see. You say we need that down here, downtown Atlanta, my sister. Yeah. It's so what are you seeing? And if you want to hop up, I think I can put a link down. You can come on and we can chat about it. But what are you seeing in Atlanta? I know in Charlotte, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's really sad. It is really sad to see, and it is really sad from my standpoint to see how people are, just to see how all the affluent people, don't get it tripped up. They have the addictions are for real. Okay. But to see how the doctor write them the prescriptions and, and they'll call me demanding it, and he want it immediately. And even if they go on after hours, they have the doctor calling the pharmacy after hours. And it's all of this because they have resources. They are aware. But the people in downtown Atlanta, they don't have that. They do not have that because more likely, and even like with DMX and Michael K. Williams, they probably, even this growing up poor. Being poor is a mental health issue for some people. It can be PTSD. I mean, can you just imagine just not knowing your next meal, where you're going to live, just all this craziness. So, let me see. That's why the men are needed in the home, but sisters say they don't need us. Spoken word is kind of like another show, and I know you're trying to get this crunk. Now, let me clarify. Let me speak from my personal experience, because I'm not sure how well you know me, or my past shenanigans or whatever. But a lot of times it's not like we don't need y'all. We need y'all. I would say in the first moment, I want a man. I don't need anybody. I'm a Leo, so I'm a one woman show. I'm just a Leo, a lioness. But I do want a good man. I really do. Out of all my past shenanigans. But the thing is, a lot of times women, our hearts become hardened because if someone hurt us. And if we the type that learn and grow from situations, but not in a good way, that's when we become the monsters that say, no, we don't need a man. But you're right. We do need that man at home. It's not meant for here. Sorry, edit. What? Okay. You're fine. But we do need the men at home. I'm so appreciative that I had my father in the home. And I've always seen my mom and dad relationship, and my dad is like an alpha male, okay? And my mom, she knows what's up, right? With my dad. And I was like, man, I never want to be that submissive to a man. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of started the callous of being a monster. But having a man at home is so important, because these are two men, DMX and Michael K. Williams, that were raised by single mothers. With DMX, his mother rejected him. When a mother rejects you, it's nothing. You screwed up for life. It's really hard, but they started with that seed of mental health needed to be taken care of. And he grew into a full grown man, not even know how to be a man, because he never had a father figure or a proper one. DMX had someone give him crack or heroin, whatever it was, at the age of 14. His brain was fried from the beginning with. He never had a chance. So he must have been a genius to have started his brain, because when you have an addiction, it messes with the chemistry of your brain. Okay. So it's not like you get off and you go back to normal. No, you have to reroute the circuitry of your brain. That's what addiction does in a long span of time of use. You have to recircuit your brain. You have to unwind, because everything is in flight and fight mode all the time. Okay. So, my brother has mental health issues and going through this with drugs. I feel your passion. Good analysis. Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So what kind of mental health? I know that's probably too deep of a question, but is it like one of those clinical schizophrenias, or just in general where he just don't know how to figure it out, type of mental health? But that's why the Black men are dying every month. We have one Black man every month for the last few months that are dying from fentanyl overdose. And I'm willing to bet 1,000% not one of them knew that fentanyl was in it. I bet you they did, and I had not a clue. What they're doing is the drug people who are selling it, they are doing this for a profit. And I had a question that a physician asked, well, why would they want to kill off the people, their clients? And as my retort to that, well, not retort, but my response to that rather was, because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know. These people are flipping $400 into $120,000 easy. No sweat whatsoever. He said, this gentleman said you can get it from China for $400 the next day to the door. Sometimes it goes through Mexico and is smuggled in. So some of this stuff can be processed in Mexico. So, it's just crazy. My point is, you don't know what your root of the medication is coming from. You have no clue. You have no clue. If you're skittish to drink off of someone else's cup, Or like I said on the lead attorney, I was making a reference so people understand. If someone tells you, especially y'all men, close your eyes, open your mouth, y'all gonna be like, hell no, I'm not doing that. Basically, I mean, so if you're not gonna do that, and you know DMX ain't gonna do that. You know, someone said, tell DMX to close your eyes and open your mouth. He could be like, what the hell are you talking about? Michael K. Williams the same way. All these guys, all women too. So why would you take a chance blindly to take something that can actually kill you? Because you don't have the awareness. So I want to make sure and make clear to you that fentanyl is out there. That fentanyl is for real. It's no joke. Fentanyl will swipe you out. This dude was swiped out with 2 other people at one time. I mean, like, what else we need to see here? The game is over. You cannot look for heroin anymore. They're not making heroin like that anymore. Your heroin is going to have fentanyl in it. Period. The fentanyl is the street drug now. Period. Your cocaine is not going to just be for cocaine. People who sell drugs, they don't care about you. They care about money. They don't care about you. Okay? So they just to do whatever. And if you die, you die. Because there's always a new addict. There's always going to be one. Because there's always someone who's trying to escape from their mental illness. Men, you have to not keep everything bottled in. You have to recognize it's a cancer on your emotions. Your mental health not being in check is a cancer on your emotions. And what's going to happen with any cancer if you don't try to cure it? It will take over and you will die in most cases. Add on addiction on top of that, which a lot of people do. What is going to be the lifespan with fentanyl? A crackhead can live forever somehow. Crackheads live forever, but you know that cocaine and stuff. Your body can't take that wear and tear. Your heart can't take the highs of that cocaine, and then you come back down and you're low. You high, but then you're low again. Your body can't do that wear and tear. You can't. Now you got that fentanyl in the mix. It's a wrap. So we need to bring awareness and bring also the awareness that the people who sell you that drugs, they probably don't even know too. They just don't know. Like I said, they probably doing it like, putting a little flick of pepper, like, oh, this needs a little bit more pepper, a little more fentanyl. And that's going to be that one last flick in a whole packet of cocaine or whatnot that can kill you. This is not a game. They have it in marijuana. They have it in anything. Prince had it in his Vicodin. They probably chopped down that Vicodin. They probably cut it up in thirds. One little pill because it's hard to come by. Okay, you understand the money grab now? Let's say you have one Vicodin, something that's hard to come by now because of the opioid epidemic, and the government is bringing it, all to a crunch. Okay, so you have one Vicodin. Let's say you cut it up in little thirds. It's like the size of like your pinky or something like that. That part. I don't know if y'all can see it. I don't know. Okay, this is the end part, right? You chopped it up into thirds. You get you some fentanyl. You bust that all down. Cook it back up. There you have it. They making money because that Vicodin is scarce now. But that fentanyl, you can get it the next day from China. Okay, so y'all have any questions or anything? Because this is really stressing me out. Oh, thank you, Unspoken Word. See, are y'all mad at me because I think I was a bad girl? But that was back then. I'm a good girl now. I'm really good now. That's why I always wear my little hearts and stuff. I don't even date or anything because I'll put myself in timeout. Okay, y'all happy? Anyway. But yeah, so and then this is a synthetic drug. It's man-made, so it's not like like the other stuff where a lot of times your body is more forgiving with it. No, this stuff is man-made and is too variable. Okay, so let's talk about the mental health. So how do y'all guys feel about mental health? And I'm gonna tie in what I experienced from the lead attorney to mental health. So it's been a lot of whatever that I'm the wicked witch of Walgreens or what. I don't even work at Walgreens, but whatever. I'm the old hag, whatever, right? Whatever. But I still be pulling, but that's besides the point. But I saw nothing. If I was looking in the comment section, and it's nothing but mental illness. It's like so many people who wanted to have me rake her roof. It's so many people. It's like and it was not just with me in general, but it's just so much mental illness. There's so many people that are frustrated. There are a lot of frustrated men who do not know how to channel their emotions. Okay. And I was just thinking, I was like, I wonder how many of these men have addiction issues, because there is no way you can stay in a perpetual state of anger to the point you actually take time to type out horrible things. It's like, so you have to get the mental health in check. That's all to it. So I know how with men is, going to the doctor, especially for something for mental health, you just don't know where to start. And I get it. I wouldn't really know where to start if I had to go to the doctor for that. But there are resources you can see online. There are online therapists you can see from the comfort of your home. And a lot of times that may be better unless your environment is kind of, a problem, where you can talk to someone from the privacy of your home. Places like Talkspace. Let me type it in it's like Talkspace. We have place called BetterHelp, and y'all probably see that advertised a lot. And then ThriveWorks. Those are just 3 resources where you can talk to someone and they can work with your issues. And a lot of times, if you just need accountability and just come, with DMX, for example, he just had, like I said, his mother rejected him, and it's really hard. It's really, really hard to, to really be fully functional in society when the very person that was supposed to make you feel safe is now the person, that have deeply damaged you, but you have to, just like in a Maxwell song, you got to work it out. Yeah, and his father wasn't there either. Exactly. And it's so sad to say, Community Solutions, it almost goes without saying, yeah. So I don't even know where he would start, but he would have to start with talking about it and making an effort. And I hate to say, a lot of times with addiction, a lot of times we want to not be accountable. And that's the big thing. Like y'all like to say, us Black women aren't accountable. I mean, jokes aside, but when you have an addiction, you have to be accountable. You have to take away the emotion of the addiction. A lot of times you have so much shame, you have so much stigma, and you think you're weak. You think you're weak because this little pill or this little nasty looking heroin, you thinking that you're weak to succumb to it and to need it. No, y'all have to understand with addiction is not that you're weak. The drug is doing it what's supposed to do. Just like any drug, you're going to have side effects. Okay. So let's just say for Vicodin, for example, I'm not sure if you ever heard of Vicodin, but Vicodin is a painkiller, right? Okay. So you have Vicodin, and I don't know. Is this really frustrating? Is this really frustrating? But Vicodin, the purpose of it is to help with pain. Okay. That is the purpose of Vicodin, help with pain. The point of Vicodin is not to get you high. The point of Vicodin is to help with pain. Okay. But the side effect of Vicodin is what? Euphoria, drowsiness, excess relaxation or however you want to call it, that's a side effect. Okay. You get to escape. That's a side effect, but that's not the purpose. So a lot of times people, I want to make aware of the drug is the drug. The drug is not, it's not about you. You got to take yourself out the equation. So my point is with DMX, he should take us out the equation because I'm pretty sure he felt overwhelmed and at a point of weakness at some point. And you got to understand the drugs is doing what it's supposed to do. Those are the side effects. Okay. So once you understand that's the side effects, then you can tackle the problem of, okay, how do I fix this problem? Okay. You have to fix the problem. So then that all goes with your mental health as well. So what's causing the problem? Why do I have the addiction? Okay. I have the addiction because my mother didn't love me. Okay. Okay. Now I have this addiction. Okay. So how do I deal with that? I'm so weak. No, you're not weak because that's the side effect. So once you see the addiction not as a person, a personal thing or a personal weakness, and see it as a science, then you are better prone to get yourself some help because you're working on the science of reversing the side effects that you've been experiencing instead of dealing with, and that even goes with heroin. That's why, when people can't get the Vicodin, that's where they go to the heroin. Are there free programs? Are you referring to like mental health? Mr. Hank, are you referring to mental health? A part of my seminar that I'm going to do, I have a nonprofit. So what I'm going to do is, the answer is no, because I've already tried to look for a friend of mine. Well, she's not a friend, but she's going through some really, really deep mental health issues. This is deep from a death. Okay. And I was trying to, find out these resources or whatnot, but no one's doing it for free. So I have a nonprofit. And so when I do my big seminar, which I will let everyone know on the TLA, because he has the platform, that big platform, I'm going to get vendors to sponsor one person for a mental health. Hopefully I can get it for at least 90 days, but if I can get a year out of them, that'll be awesome. But that's what I want to do. So, so that's, I'll keep y'all updated on that. So free programs, I don't know about, I looked into it. I did not find any for mental health. As for addiction, if you really want to know something, hit me up and I will, cause I believe there are resources. You just have to look when it comes to addiction. So I'm pretty sure I can scratch up something for that, in your area. But as for mental health, no. It's strong. My dentist prescribed it. I didn't even finish the dosage. Are you referring to the Vicodin? Yeah, that stuff is no joke. You probably was laid out on the couch for how long? You was probably drooling and stuff. Yeah. So imagine, you feeling like, let's say, I think you're a woman. Yeah. I can't really see the icons. Imagine the person you with is up and left you or something. And you notice that when you take your Vicodin, you feeling, you just don't care, right? And so what do most people do? Unfortunately, they gonna keep wanting to escape when they at that lowest point. Let me see. Men don't want to open up. We have taught to be quiet and hold everything in. Now we are opening up now, talking as men. Shout out to the Black Manosphere. Yeah. With the Black Manosphere, it's a little toxic, but I guess it's good to get it all out, even though y'all hate women or whatever that's about. I don't know. But besides the point, but yeah, unfortunately with society, men are taught to just hold it in. But what's happening with that? We're seeing it, especially with the pandemic and everything is not rotating through, you're not, the jobs may have dried up or, Michael K. Williams. Who knows? DMX, who knows? But this pandemic have different ways of affecting people's mental health. And let's say you already got an underlying mental health issue and a underlying addiction on top of that. Yeah. So that's why a Black man is dying every month from fentanyl. So is this the mental health? Do y'all believe in, what's y'all version of getting y'all mental health taken care of? And like I said, that's why women, we are doing better with this situation because, you know, we're always going to the doctor. We don't mind going to the doctor. We're tired. We want to just go ahead and resolve a problem because, you know, or we don't mind crying to our girlfriends or, you know, someone crazy like me. We don't mind telling all our business to the whole world. I mean, you know, like you think get things off your chest, you're like, woo, and you keep it going. You know, people like, oh, you know, but I'm like, whatever. I feel great, you know, whatever. You know, proud of my past, whatever. He said, I think artists start off partying, then they take the cocaine to be able to go back to shows. Then they got all these family members taken care of to take care of. It's overwhelming. Like, yes. Yeah, I mean, Whitney Houston, you know, they blame poor Bobby Brown for being the bad part of her, but she was the one that flipped him into the cocaine. You know, I mean, and that's a great point you just made. High functional addicts. All of these men that are dying once a month, these are high functional addicts. You have, you know, like that comedian who died. He probably was like, man, I always got to be funny. This is a person who's supposed to make us laugh, who make us happy, you know, but then what is he doing? He's trying to get that rush. You know, some people feel like they can't be artistic or really bring out the best in their work unless they're jacked up and high. You know, and that's just, and you have to see it for what it is. You have to understand there is a rock bottom. As humans, especially men, tend to think that it's never going to end and they always can stop when you want to. No, when you're dealing with addiction, it's going to come to a rock bottom. Period. Don't kid yourself, especially with this fentanyl. Don't, I mean, like I said earlier with that, the white gentleman that was, you know, talking about flipping $400 into over $100,000. He was saying, if you have the killer fentanyl, people are going to know about it and they're running to you. What is the sanity of that? People want to escape from their crappy lives so bad that they run into the death. They run into the death thinking they're going to beat it. You know that fentanyl is a killer, but for some reason you think if you just take a little less fentanyl but they don't even know how much it costs that person, how much fentanyl costs in the first place for the person to die. It's just ridiculous. I mean, so we just have to keep our mental health in check. Like I said, there are resources out there. In my personal opinion, let me see if I can get this down. My personal opinion, and from what I do know personally, you got to get the mental health in check. There is no point in really dealing with the addiction unless it's a dire, situation, unless you deal with the mental health, because all you're doing is slapping, you're not, this is putting on a Band-Aid on a problem. That's why DMX had, done therapy. He went to jail and got dried out just to come back to it because he never took care of the underlying problem. He never did that. And if you don't take care of the underlying problem, you always have the problem. It's only a matter of time where you feel that one little angst, you kind of a little antsy, or you get a little depressed. And you're like, I don't want to deal with this emotion. I don't want to deal with it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that pill. I'm going to shoot that heroin because I can't deal. I'm a star. I'm DMX. Will I make it again? My new album is coming up. Will they receive it the right way? Am I still the man? When I was young, I was nice and my body was ripped. Now I gotten older. I'm older now. Will they still love me? Will they clown me? These new boys out here, skinny jeans and all. I can't put no skinny jeans on. What's going on here? How's this going to go? It's just all of that. And that makes you want to go back to do what you used to do to escape so you can keep your fake confidence up. Okay? So, like I said, I'm putting together now a big seminar for awareness. It's going to be online, because of COVID and anything, but I want to reach as many people as possible. But my main message is the foundation, the root of the problem, getting that mental health. I want to, like I said, I want to get sponsors, And that's what I'm working on now. So I have a nonprofit, so they'll get, they can give me money for the sponsorship, and then they still get a tax write-off. So it's really gonna be no sweat to them. But to sponsor as many people I can get sponsored to get their mental health in check. Despite what y'all black men think about black women, we love y'all. I don't have to care about this because we good. The women, we aren't dying, but I hate to see our brothers. It really does break my heart to see the brothers going through this because they keep everything bottled in. It broke my heart when DMX died, y'all. It broke my heart. Michael K. Williams, when he died, and I did actually, if y'all see one of my ones that said A2 Omar, it wasn't known how he died, but I even said on that live, I said, if he died from fentanyl, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna lose it. I cannot tolerate one more black man dying from fentanyl. And then sure enough, yesterday, I'm like, you know what? I can't. I cannot do this anymore. I can't keep seeing this because they're thinking this is the game haven't changed. Listen, we are in an opioid epidemic. Listen, the Vicodins or whatever is not plentiful anymore. Okay. So listen, they have to do whatever they can, the cocaine or whatever. Listen, they want to make money. So listen, they getting that fentanyl. Okay, only takes a flick. Okay, look at that little bit. That's all it takes. Okay, these drug dealers don't love you. Close your eyes, open your mouth. What you gonna say? Hell no. So say hell no to these drugs. Do not even trust the best friend that gets it for you because they don't know who they're getting it from. Okay, so this is what makes fentanyl so deadly because it only takes a little bit. It only takes a little bit. Look at that little bit of dust. You can take your thumb and rub it into the fabric. It's just ridiculous compared to this penny. This is a penny. I think that's a penny. Yeah, that's a penny. And look at that little bit of dust. That's all you need to kill you. That's it. This is a money grab. The business model has changed. The drug addicts have seen that the drug dealers seen the business model has changed. They had to mutate. They have to do something different because they can't get those Vicodin like they used to. The people can't get it used like they used to. Supply and demand. Now all the drug addicts who was getting the Vicodin with fake prescriptions or since they done tighten up on the doctors and the pharmacists, now they can't get it. So now they're gonna go to the go-to, which is the heroin. Now they probably had a shortage of heroin for a while. Some brilliant drug lord was like, well, what can we do? Wow, we can do this fentanyl. Let's make it happen. And that's what's happening. Okay. So if you have a drug up problem, you better stop it. That's all to it. Unless you want to die today. That's all to it with love. Okay. But like I said, I'm going to get my seminar. I want to, so whoever, I'm going to keep this and, like Hank, I'm going to reach back out to you once I have it together. And I'm not sure if, your family member would be willing to have a free mental health therapy on the line or over the phone. Because that's, you can just see them over the phone from the comfort of his home. So that's what I want to do because I can have all my brothers dying. Who else I'm going to marry? I done ran through a lot of y'all. I mean, if all y'all dying, who else I'm going to marry? I'm just joking, kind of. But thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you so much. Let me see what Community Solutions said. If y'all have any questions, let me know. And if it's anything I didn't answer, I have like all these notes, but I get so lost in the sauce because this is like, to me as a pharmacist, I get so frustrated because to me, it makes so much sense. Seeing this little flick, this little bit of dust. It's just like, we say, yes, the Vicodin. Yeah, because I don't take medication, so it doesn't take much to get me high. Yeah, I bet you were drooling, honey. Let me see. I think Artist Star of Part. Yeah, let me see. Oh, thank you, Mr. Tyrone. I hope this was helpful. I hope I taught y'all something. Like I said, if you need Narcan, like you, for example, Mr. Hank, You can get it from the pharmacy. And that was another thing. I'm going to try to get a supply. There's a special way to get it. I'm going to have a supply and mail it off to people for free. So that's all I would be. And I'm trying to do my seminar in the next like month or so. But I really want to get those sponsors in because I really want to bring value. I don't want to do like I'm doing here and just running my mouth and bring awareness, which is important, but I want to put some action behind it. And when you have action, you need money. And there are a lot of banks and a lot of different businesses with the opioid epidemic. They want to look good. So I know I can get all of the resources. It just depends on how much, but I definitely going to do that. Well, I appreciate that. So if there's no questions or anything, I really appreciate y'all joining me. Usually when I do these lives, it's by myself. But yeah, this is so important. So yeah, just, let's just pray for each other. Like I said, let's not try to be angry with other people or whatnot. Let's just, just try to support each other because we really don't know what the other person is going through. Mental health is covered by Medicaid too, as well. Exactly. Yep. Thank you. Excellent point. Yep. Yeah. So Community Solution said something awesome. Said mental health. Let me get this off the screen. Mental health is covered by Medicaid too. Yep. And most insurances, that is a very good point. I should have pointed that out. So yeah, so a lot of times it's usually zero copay. Like I talked to a psychologist like a month ago, and it was through MD or something like that. I can't remember. If y'all want to know, I can look it up and let y'all know. But it was zero copay through my insurance. Zero. Absolutely zero. Let me see. MD. Anyways, it was one of those online. I didn't even leave my couch. Alone, but to be honest with you, he kind of sucked now. He really sucked. So I'll be honest, you probably do have to go through a process of interviewing, and I do recommend going to our own people. So when I get my seminar together, I'm gonna really want to make sure that they get like from BetterHelp, make sure and communicate that they try to line us up with people that are like us, because no one understands our struggles like we do, so, and that was the problem with the psychologist I had. It was like a white male and he can't relate to my crazy woman. I'm a crazy Black woman. What he know? You know what I'm saying? He was looking at me like I was a crazy Black woman the entire time, which was making me mad, so yeah, MD Live is one. Yeah, so it's free. It's actually a lot of times it's free on your insurance. But if it's not free, some people, especially in our communities, don't have insurance or whatnot. Like I said, I want to. So if y'all have any names of people who y'all want to recommend or whatever, I'm gonna get so I can kind of get a gauge of how many sponsors I want to get sponsored rather. So when I start hitting up these businesses to be a part, to look good for them and to, for me to help out the community, just to kind of see, the ballpark. So yeah, and hopefully I can get it for at least 90 days, and get it started with the mental health, like a once a week type thing for 90 days. Hopefully I'm gonna push for a year. I'm gonna get greedy, but we'll see. But anyway, all right. I appreciate y'all so much. Hit me up. I'll put my email address. If y'all have any questions, other questions, tish@gmail.com. So that's supposed to be Your Fave Pharmacist tish@gmail.com. So y'all make sure and copy and paste that somewhere. If y'all have any questions, y'all have any concerns, look at y'all were sleeping on one of my videos about how to save money at the pharmacy, but look at that, because even people who have prescription insurance, the little tidbit I did say on how to save money can still help too, and sometimes it's cheaper than your actual insurance copay. So look at that. It's only like a couple of minute video, because I'm all about saving people money, even though y'all think I'd be trying to gank people for money, right, guys? Anyway, y'all take care. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you have my email. Oh shoot, hold on. Let me put this up. Okay, yeah, that's my email address. So make sure copy And that's 2 T's. It's pharmacist with a T and a TISH at gmail.com. So just reach me there. And I also have a texting community. Just email me and I'm going to send you my texting community number. And just whatever questions you can direct straight to me to my texting community. Okay. So either way, if there's no more questions, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a nice night. What y'all going to do? You know, I'm lonely because I'll hit the wall, right, guys? So it's just going to be me, my dogs, right, guys? Anyway, let me get off here because y'all know I'm wild. So I'm about to wild out. So, and mess up the whole tone of this live. So, yeah, take care. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Bye-bye. Thank you, Mr. Hang. Y'all reach out to me. Bye.